You've made it. It's week 2. Congratulations. If you're anything like me, you're sitting at home, looking at the nice weather, thinking, man, I wish I was out on an adventure right now. Well, never fear. Episode 2 of your favorite outdoor podcast is here. I'm already your favorite podcast, I know. Thank you for joining us for another action-packed episode brought to you by your Walla Walla University family. This week, we have stories from Kayla, Nash, and Nico Belliard, both friends of mine who are excited and passionate about the outdoors. I'm your host, Xander Culver, and you are listening to Trail Tales. Our first story starts with a bad idea. But seriously, what good stories don't start with bad ideas? Without further ado, I'd like to welcome my friend, Nico.
All right. My name is Nico Belliard, and I am a graduating senior. I am studying bioengineering. I've really enjoyed my time at Walla Walla. I've been able to get involved with Engineers Without Borders throughout my time. I'll also do some music, play an orchestra, and also get outside. And so thinking of a adventure in the outdoors, my mind immediately jumped to a time back in high school when I'm trying to think of the year. I think this was 2016. So this was February of 2016, 4 years ago. And I was with Alex Nelson, the brother of the famous Chad Nelson, and we were in the Wasatch backcountry in Utah doing some backcountry skiing, and we were staying at Snowbird Ski Resort. We had the brilliant idea of skinning up on our skis up to the ridge between Snowbird and the neighboring resort. We wanted to go from Little Cottonwood Canyon across over the ridge, ski down into Big Cottonwood Canyon, and then ride the lifts illegally back up to the top of Brighton Resort. Yeah, I think it's Brighton, and ski back to Little Cottonwood. Of course, this is something that you would come up with when in high school, because looking back, this was a really bad idea. But so we set out, we skinned up to the top of the ridge, and we pointed our skis downhill and caught some sweet turns. There was some really nice powder on the backside of the ridge, and got a little lost getting to the resort, but finally kind of got in bounds and got to the first backside lift. And so our reasoning was, if we're not at the bottom of the mountain, they're never going to check for tickets, so we can just hop on and ride up the lift. But what we failed to recognize was that this resort started to implement the little gate system, I guess. So you needed to have a ticket that would scan you through the gate with like little RFID chip, and that would let you through the gates and onto the lift. So we get to the first lift. We had to get down 3 lifts to get to the top of the mountain. We get to the first lift and talk to the lady there, and we're like, "Hey, we got lost." So there was a little bit of fibbing going on here too. We were like, "Well, we got lost, and we need to get back to the top of the mountain and back to Alta." And she's like, "All right, you guys can just get on this one time." And so we got on the first lift, no problem. We get to the second of these 3 lifts and have to do the same thing. We go up to the lifty, but this time this guy is not very excited. He's already he sees our backpacks. He knows what we're doing. We go to talk to him, and he just doesn't want to talk. He's like, "Nope." And we're like, "Hey, can we just get on this one time to, ride the lift up and get back to Little Cottonwood?" And he's like, "No way, you guys, this is dumb. You shouldn't be doing this. Just get out of here. I don't want to deal with you. Like, I'm going to be fired if I let you do that." So we're like, okay. So we ski to the bottom of the hill, and we're like, what do we do now? Because he's not going to let us. And that was one of the main middle lifts. We couldn't get up to the top of the mountain otherwise. So we end up skiing down because we didn't want to hike back up. We were feeling kind of lazy. We end up skiing back down to the lodge and just kind of chilling in the parking lot, eating our snacks, and walk out to the road and just start hitchhiking, throw a thumb out there, and cars are driving past us, and, no luck. Obviously, we probably looked like some, ski bums that were up to no good. Finally, though, a worker from the Brighton resort gives us a lift. He's like, yeah, hop in. We jump in his car, catch a ride with him to the bottom of Big Cottonwood Canyon. Then we hop on a bus service from the bottom of that canyon because he was headed to Salt Lake City back home for the day. We didn't want to have him to have to drive back up the other canyon. So he he drops us off at the bus station, and then we catch a bus for like $2 back up to the lodge. So nothing super crazy, but it was just a fun story. And I think I learned a lot from that experience, which is don't do illegal stuff.
I love it.
Sweet.
That's great. Hey, so you're a man of many talents. What is your favorite outdoor activity?
Oh, that's a hard one. Well, no, I would have to say I think mountain biking is definitely my favorite outdoor activity, hands down. I enjoy other things, but mountain biking has definitely always been my primary outdoor passion.
How'd you get into mountain biking?
So my dad was into mountain biking, and he is the one that showed me the trails behind our house here in Loma Linda. And he's the one that got me my first mountain bike and got me into it. And then we would ride. I rode with him a lot, like up until middle school. And then in high school, it was more riding with friends in high school. And yeah, now in college too.
Nice. What's one piece of gear you always take with you on any kind of adventure?
Toilet paper.
Perfect for right now.
Yeah, it's especially now that's very relevant.
Mm-hmm. What is a way you can recommend for people to get that sense of outdoor adventure in a time like this when we're recommended, especially here on the West Coast, on the East Coast, everyone's recommended to stay in their houses, in their neighborhoods?
I think right now something that's helped me is, first of all, there's some good books out there about the outdoors that are, especially helpful. And I'm excited. I'm taking a literature class this next quarter where we're going to read a book by John Muir, and I'm blanking on the name right now, but I'm looking forward to that. And also, I think if you do have a backyard, to utilize it. I was just thinking the other day, I think I'm going to probably do some camping in my backyard here the next few nights.
Oh yeah.
Just to, you might as well. You have it. It's great. Yeah. I've also set up my hammock in my room. So nice. That's, trying to create the illusion of being outside. So yeah, those are a few things that I've done.
So here's a question I like. What is the best sunrise you've ever seen?
Ooh, this is pretty hard. But I have to say one of my favorites, if not my favorite, was with you, Xander, when we were on Mount Hood that was about a year ago, right? That was May 2019.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah. Sunrise on Hood with a group of Walla Walla wolves was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, so, that was great. What are some of your future adventure goals?
So I applied for a permit for the John Muir Trail this summer. So I'm hoping that'll still work out.
I hope that works out too. Thanks for being on the show, Nico.